Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 567 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever, and coming up on the show we'll be hearing from Kevin Rogers of Paycare, all about not only how they help their customers but also how they help the community across Wolverhampton and beyond. We'll have a natter with our Tracy Rhodes, joining us for a bit of a chat. She is absolutely brilliantly funny, a lovely lady. We'll be having a natter with her. Janko Raseta joins us. He's from the band Aggressive Swans. We'll be talking to him about his music, life in Munich, and the forthcoming album they have. We'll have a chat with Harry Gill, who's organised a concert to raise money for the 3, 2, 1. Welcome along to episode 567 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show, Kevin Rogers of Paycare lets us know not only about how they help their customers but also how they're helping the community across Wolverhampton and beyond. We'll have a chat with Tracy Rhodes, aka our Trace, brilliantly funny in a posh frock. We'll be hearing from her. Janko Raseta joins us from the band Aggressive Swans to let us know about their forthcoming album and life in Munich. We'll hear from Kelly Jeffs of The Lighthouse, as they of course are on lockdown as same as everybody else, so we'll find out what's happening and how you can support them in this difficult time. Plus there's a charity concert raising funds for the Grand Theatre. Harry Gill letting us know about that one as he is the organiser. Beth Glow joins us to talk about some of the brilliant stuff taking place online as we mark VE Day virtually rather in real life than we had hoped to be able to. David Love joins us talking about his battles with technology and what it's like being a folk singer when suddenly you're thrust into the online spotlight. Plus having a chat with Sam Raybone. You'll know him from his appearance at the Garrick Theatre in Lichfield as their panto down. He does loads more besides. We'll be having a chat with him. That's all coming up on the show. Tracy Rhodes is a fantastic comedian. You will know her as our Trace. She is loved by thousands, in fact millions, not only across our area but across the world, and joins me now for a chat. Hello.
Morning.
How are we doing?
Fine, thank you.
What's been going on in the world of our Trace over the last few months? A bit quieter just at the minute than we'd like, but you've been really busy, haven't you?
I have been really busy. Since it went viral a couple of years ago, we haven't had time to look back. It's all been forward.
Mm-hmm.
But bookings from all over the globe. We've been to Tenerife performing. We've had invites to go to Spain and Cyprus as well. But obviously things have been put on hold for the moment, so who knows what the future holds.
Yeah, fingers crossed it'll all come back to something like normal soon. But I mean, you're busy with your day job as well as everything else that goes on, so I'm not entirely sure how you have a chance to fit it all in.
The day job's a necessity, it's imperative. Working for the NHS, as you say, particularly in the current times. I work in mental health, currently working from home, doing telephone consultations.
So, you know, keeping that going, which is, say, what counts. And so, in such a trying time, it is essential that we have this, isn't it? So, you know, it is good that you're able to continue to do that from the surroundings we see you in now.
That's right, yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes to the comedy, I mean, our Trace you've been doing for a few years now. Remind us how it all started.
How it all started? I used to be in amateur dramatics, pantos and comedies for years, and then somebody asked me to do a sketch at a private barbecue. So I dressed up as a character and I did this sketch, and I just threw in a couple of gags, and people were laughing. There were old people there. One lady wet herself laughing, which has got to be the ultimate compliment to any.
I think so.
Yeah. So it was at a time in my life. Our daughter was 5 years old, and I wanted to go back into my acting. And Terry, my husband, said, "Well, how about going into comedy? Because what he'd done was amazingly funny." So we looked into it, and that's how it all started. With South Staff's Entertainment Council, I did a showcase at Chesley Way Working Men's Club. Never look back.
Now, you have been tempted at some point to take a bit of a step back from this, but the demand has just been there for more and more Trace. And it's a little bit naughty, but it's ever such a lot of fun.
I'm sorry, Jason, people like naughty. You know, but we're very versatile and we're very adaptable in what we do, and we always ask the audience, how naughty do you want me to be on a scale of 1 to 10? And believe me, they're shouting 50!
I'm sure you shock yourself sometimes with some of the things you come out with, but it is about having that bit of fun. And I mean, the tours that you've done and doing some great work online, and you were so proud, I know, when everything massively exploded when you went viral.
It was overwhelming at the time. It did we didn't know which way to turn because we'd never experienced anything like it. And the fact that we were turning up to bookings, people paying a lot of money for a ticket, and they were sold out just to see our Trace, it was so humbling.
But I mean, you put a lot of work into this, and we can see that from the way in which the scripts are honed, and you've involved the whole family at some points. I mean, your other half gets an absolute battering, doesn't he?
Oh, he does, yeah, he does. He's in the garden at the minute. Oh, he does. What gags can I get away with?
Well, yeah, keep it moderately clean for me.
Moderately clean. Okay. He said to me, because he's loving the garden at the moment, you know, and to be fair, it's looking amazing. He said to me the other night, he said, Tracy says, you know, your backside, it's getting as big, if not as wide, as that barbecue grill. You know, well, you can imagine my reaction. In bed that night, he was getting quite amorous. I turned round, I says, if you're expecting me to fire up this barbecue for one single chipolata you can think on.
Oh, you kept it clean, that was good, we like that. But and you have such fun around playing on your relationship and the great gags that follow through from that. But a big part of it is the costumes. Now, whenever I see you out and about, and we've bumped into each other at the shops as well as when we've caught up at other things, you dress nothing at all like our Trace. Where do the outfits come from?
Our Trace, do you know what? That dress that she wears and that hat and the glasses, they're over 25 years old. I do not invest a penny. Oh, I've just had a new cardigan because the other one was threadbare. Even the socks I had from the German market in Birmingham about 15 years ago, even the socks, and they've been darned and darned and darned, and I'm not going to buy a new pair.
I think that's part of the way she looks, though, isn't it? If it was something new, it wouldn't feel the same, would it?
No, that's why the Express and Star dubbed the character as the funny woman in the posh frock, because it's not posh, is it? So people expect this, funny woman in a posh frock, and when I walk out, it's the opposite.
But absolutely golden comedy. We absolutely adore it. People can see a load of your work online, can't they?
Do you know what? Recently a lot of entertainers are singing on social media, and I was itching to do something, but because of the current climate, I didn't know whether it was appropriate. I didn't know how it would be perceived. So we spoke about it, and I decided to do a live spot and take the consequences. I thought if anybody's going to enjoy it, it's going to be our Trace's fan base.
Yeah. So
a couple of weeks ago, I did 20 minutes, a live spot. I didn't touch on, this COVID-19 at all. I never had one detrimental comment. The comments that we received were amazing. The fact that humour is needed at a time like this.
Absolutely. We need to look for our Trace on Facebook to be able to see that, don't we?
Yeah, I've got a page, our Trace, or Tracy Rhodes, but there's also a fan page, our Trace fan page on Facebook as well.
Okay, so check out the fan page, get yourself along there, make sure you like it, like the Our Trace page too, and be ready to be amused by that woman in the posh frock who's just that little bit naughty but ever so lovable. Tracy Rose, thank you for joining us.
Can I just say, Jason, I'm a little bit upset at the moment because you know Gary Barlow from Take That?
Yeah.
He's actually only this morning blocked me from Facebook.
No.
Whatever I said, whatever I did. Sorry.
Tracy, always good to catch up with you. See you soon.
And you too. Bye. Bye.
Janko Raseta has been doing loads of work in many different guises, one of which is his band Aggressive Swans. He joins me now on the line to tell me what's going on in his world. Hello, sir.
Well, there isn't going much at the moment, unfortunately, because of the obvious reason, because of the pandemic. But we are still trying to keep afloat. Next week on Sunday, we have actually the only standing gig at the moment, which will be recorded in a club and then streamed. Other than that, we're hoping for the situation to stabilize quickly and that we could get back to business.
Absolutely. But I mean, obviously, it's difficult all around the world. And where do we find you at the moment?
Well, we have a couple of ideas what we could do, and there are a couple of new pieces we already recorded, and just we're waiting for a right moment for them to be released. Other than that, we have a drummer now. We have Leander, which plays with us, which is a fantastic guy, and that brings so much joy to the project. Being able to play with live drums. Also, me personally, I have a project with the same drummer, a duo with a bit different kind of music. It's more like a jazz fusion kind of stuff. So we are definitely busy and trying to get the best out of what was given to us.
Absolutely, that's the way to do it. Now, you're based in Germany?
Yes, we're in Munich.
And obviously, you've seen some difficult times, as everywhere has, with COVID-19. And how does it feel from your point of view with what's going on around you, with your community?
I think that the most difficult times are already behind us, considering the social life. The restrictions that were introduced by the government are slightly being eased out, and well, you can go to the city, you can go to the store and stuff like that. However, the impact on the culture and on the artists is still very huge, and it will remain here. The difficult situation is not going away. There were funds promised by the government, which unfortunately are not applicable for most of the artists, including myself. So we don't play live gigs. We have to teach. We have to do lots of studio work, more than before.
Now, you often teach anyway, and I know that you do share your skills. So it has been good, I suppose, to have more time to spend on that one, even though it's not the usual gigs that you enjoy performing. But how has it been received by your students? Are they enjoying the opportunity to learn new things?
I must say that because we are teaching now, most of us through video, there we are again. We're teaching through video now with video calls, and I must say that I personally, well, maybe the opinion of my students will differ, but I find it actually better than in person. You know, especially considering kids. You know, when one of the parents sits at home beside them and actually motivates them as well to play. That's actually very good for us both. I have more fun because they actually do something, and they do something. So that's not the worst as we could have imagined it could have been.
So with Aggressive Swans, as you say, there is music that you've got that you've been working on already that's starting to come together, and in your own solo projects as well. So the interesting thing is, I mean, I know from your work that we've heard in the past, you're often performing in English, but German is your native tongue. So, I mean, how did all that come about? What made you perform in English?
Well, I believe I'm speaking for Matt now, for our singer. We both have similar musical tastes, and this also drives us into English music and music in English language. Like Arctic Monkeys, like Last Shadow Puppets, of course, the side project of Alex Turner, and Arcade Fire, other bands like that, all English-speaking bands, and it kind of seemed natural to us to also pursue this way and express ourselves in English.
Oh, it works, and I say it's a good sound that you're producing. And what can we expect from Aggressive Swans to start to be released now? Because I know you've got, as you say, you've got some things already recorded.
We do. Well, we were hoping to be able to play the album through a couple of times live before it comes out. Well, obviously now the situation changed, so we cannot do that at the moment. But the album is definitely in the works, and well, we were hoping for release as soon as possible. That of course depends on many factors, but we're eager to make music as much as ever.
And you've got a studio that you're working in, and that, I think, it helps having a sort of confined space. So very much work as usual for you when you're actually in the studio.
Yes, well, I could have said that. I could say that if not for the cancelled performances, the time would have been fantastic for probably most musicians. I mean, this is mostly about the lost income and financial situation. But considering the art, we are flourishing as we ever did. We have more time now to do stuff, as you said, in the studio, and some people at home. So this solitude definitely helps the art to improve, to get more deeper, and to maybe think about the directions that each artist takes and pursues.
And in the writing that you've been doing that we'll hear on the new album when it is released, what sort of areas have been the sort of songs you've been writing about? What sort of events have you been covering there?
Well, the new album is definitely, you could say, a concept album, and it revolves about a hotel, a fictitious hotel where strange things happen. So this is a story. I personally like to call it basically a musical. This is this could have been a movie, and like on the verge of surrealism and strange experiences each of us had while traveling. We've been trying to project it on through the music, and I think we succeeded very much. Like, objectively speaking, this is a lot of fun.
Okay, so when will we all be able to hear it? When can we expect release?
Well, we can't really say at the moment. That's the saddest part. But the music is here. Just needs some final polishes, and then we will be so happy to show it to you.
Okay, so we'll follow Aggressive Swans on social media. How do we find you?
Please do that. You can find us under Aggressive Swans. As far as we know, there are no other bands called like this. So it's not hard to find us. Aggressive Swans on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever you want. Also on Spotify, there are a couple of singles that we already released before, and you also have a new live video of us playing.
Well, we're going to enjoy that now. Meanwhile, Janko, Raseta from Aggressive Swans, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
With the bank holiday to mark the VE Day Remembrance celebrations this coming Friday and all the events that should have been, all is not lost. There are still some things taking place. Beth Berwick-Lowe joins me now to tell me what she will be doing virtually to mark the occasion. Hello.
Hello, Jason.
How are we doing?
Okay, thank you. How about you?
Oh, good, thank you. Good to have you along again. I know it's only a few weeks since we last spoke, but equally I know that you would have been absolutely massively busy over the coming few days because of the plans for VE Day and the work that you do with your gang, the Bluebird Bells.
Of course, yeah. So this weekend we were actually supposed to be in Cornwall. On Wednesday we were due to be flying out to Guernsey and entertaining for the full week of VE. And then the events were going to continue through the month as well. So yes, it does feel very strange after sort of planning everything for a year to not be doing any of that, but we're trying to make the best of it and making lots of little videos and things to go out, all done from home, so we can still be involved in some way.
Absolutely, and knowing the quality of what you and the team produce, it's going to look absolutely amazing. And there's still some events now going online, aren't there?
Exactly, yes. So last weekend, was it? I'm losing track of time, but about a week or two ago, we were supposed to be at Wartime in the Cotswolds, and they thought, hey, we're going to put it all online, get the entertainers involved. They got lots of the reenactors to send videos in and photos from previous events, and it worked so well. The comments were incredible, people saying how great the day was going because of that, and they were so upset that they couldn't be there, but this was really making up for it. So people really are pulling together and just making the best of a bad situation.
So that still can be seen, but when it comes down to what you do with the Bluebird Bells, I mean, you take this all very seriously, and there's you and a number of people that you work with regularly at this sort of events, taking us back to a time where when conflict was either on or just coming to an end, or you're marking the celebration of the fact that it had finished. And the uniforms and things that you guys wear look absolutely amazing. And are a lot of these original from the time, or are you getting things made for the look to be right?
Yeah, so I actually have a full selection of original vintage uniforms, which I've built up over time. I'm really interested in the history of it as well. So I've got a fire service, Air Force, Navy, Army, which was the ATS in the war, and it's a sort of replica of the one that the Queen wore, but it is original. Everything's quite small, as you can imagine, because they were quite small back in the day.
That works because you are a petite as well.
I'm small, but I'm tall. That's the problem. Small arms. But with the bells, we bought modern RAF uniforms and we reclocked them. So we got original brass buttons and buckles, and we altered the uniforms to be, exact replicas of the WAF uniforms that were worn back in the wartime. So people are always really appreciative of how much time and effort we've put into making sure the look is right, because it's very important, I think, especially for veterans when they come and see us. They really do appreciate that it's that things are as they were back then.
And it is an absolutely glorious sound as well, even if it wasn't harking back to a time when Britain came together, and the work that you're doing to mark that as one thing, but it sounds absolutely awesome. Whatever, they're just such great songs, aren't they?
Great songs, and just 3-part harmony is just fantastic. I've always been interested in harmony ever since I can remember, and so when I discovered the Andrew sisters and their incredible tight sound, I just wanted to replicate that. So I try and get the harmonies sounding as authentic as possible. And as you say, they're fantastic songs. People always really appreciate them. They're great for dancing, great for joining in with, singing along. You can't go wrong.
Absolutely not. Have you got a favourite?
Ooh, don't ask me that, Jason. In the Mood, Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, and We'll Meet Again, of course.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. Now, with the work that you're doing online, obviously the Bluebird Bells Facebook page is an absolute go-to for that, but you've got things on YouTube and all over the place, haven't you?
Yeah, so the main social media pages for us are Facebook and Instagram, and we've got a YouTube channel too. So across the weekend we'll be uploading everything to the individual channels, so people can access them in lots of different ways.
And if they are having their own VE Day street party, staying within the confines of their front lawn, somebody blasting out the sound of the Bluebird Bells down the street, I think is going to be well received, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. Well, hopefully. So just to inform you, we are releasing our VE Day, our special VE Day video on Friday the 8th, which is VE Day. So that's been kept a closely guarded secret, and we had planned to film together, of course, but we've not been able to, so we've done it all in isolation. So hopefully that's received really well. On Saturday the 9th at 2 o'clock, I'm doing a VE Day concert live stream on Facebook, so people can join in with that as well.
So look out for that one, and you find that on the Bluebird Bells page as well?
Yeah, so that's facebook.com/the Bluebird Bells.
Well, I'll go along there, and I'm sure there'll be links to pop some money in the hat as well for making sure that you can continue to do this sort of stuff, because it's a difficult time, isn't it?
It really is. Well, it's sort of the entertainment, hospitality industry. We don't know when. We're kind of going to be the last, I think, to be able to do things again. So we're just trying to make the best of it, trying to do things virtually. And people have been so lovely, so generous. We put out a post saying that our We'll Meet Again CD could be bought in time for VE Day, and we had loads of orders for that. So yeah, it's been good. People have really supported us through this, which is great.
I think it's the quality of the work which also makes a bit of difference too, to be fair. So that all helps. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Beth, looking forward to hearing everything that you put out over the VE Day weekend, and seeing the Bells in action together, even if it is only virtually. But I know that will be absolutely the best way it can be done when it is done. So thank you for joining us. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks very much. Take care.
Now, if ever there's somebody I know who can do some fantastic songs, perform in front of hundreds, thousands of people, but I'd have thought never likely to get online, it's David Love. However, he has done that big step, and he's doing online videos and joins me now to tell me more. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. This is not without a lot of assistance, I can assure you.
Okay, there's a safety net keeping you on air.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I panicked when you just called me. I mean, it's not just a minor panic, but hard thumps like that. I don't really do the equipment. Then he told me I've got to download stuff, and I can understand why old people get in a state about this sort of thing, because I'm there already. The stuff that I put on Facebook, whatever it's called, I've had to do with the help of my daughter, because you think it'd be the easiest thing in the world. Because let's face it, I don't want to diss anybody here, but it's obviously not rocket science, is it, to put stuff on Facebook?
It's normally a couple of clicks. There's a few buttons, and before you know it, you've posted something you didn't mean to.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the type of people who take moving pictures of their breakfast can work it out. So it bothers me that it seems to elude me. So every one of these clips that I put up, I had to record on a mobile phone, which is a problem, seeing as my mobile phone is it's about 10 years old and was a cast off from the kids. But fortunately, my wife's got one of the magic ones where you stroke it and all that sort of thing, and all things happen. So she let. I'm amazed at the things you can do on them. You don't just talk to people. You can you play games, everything on them. Anyway, so I managed to record myself doing that. But could I upload it onto Tinternet? No. Eventually, I found a way of doing it where I have to send it to my daughter. She sends something back to me, which gets to my Facebook Messenger, and then it'll go on. Apparently, it's too big. The file's too big to go directly on. I just don't understand it. But it annoys me that some people, let's put it this way, how can I say it? The thickest of the thick can do it. So why can I not?
Well, it is working, and people are loving what you're doing. So what sort of things are you sharing online? Because normally you'd be at a folk festival at this point in the week, probably.
Well, that's right. Anywhere that'll let me in. But I thought, if I'm going to try this out, I'll use it as an opportunity to put stuff on that that might get left off a set that you're doing in a club, because it's just as much effort to write a song that probably doesn't work all that well every time as it is to write one that people latch onto. It still takes, for the most part, several days out of your life. And you do this. I've got a lot of songs I've done once and thought, didn't work very well. But a lot of the time it's because it's a bit difficult to do, or there's some particular feature of it that makes it perhaps not instantly appealing. And therefore, I thought, well, I'm not going to waste me really popular stuff. So I'm going to do some of the stuff that's, only been done once 15 years ago, which I've decided I still quite like. If it stood the test with me, and I think I still quite like this after 15 years, even though I only dared do it once, I thought, well, I'm going to give it another go. And I think people have more time and can listen to it again if they quite liked it, particularly if it's one where you probably need the second listen to work out what it's all going to be about. I'll tell you what I like. I don't know if you see those Inside Number 9 shows on the telly. And there's a twist in the end. And you've got to watch it twice sometimes just to see what you missed the first time, see all the clues. So it's those sort of songs that I wish they were of that quality, but it's that sort of stuff that sometimes I like to put on because people might want to say, now I get it right at the end. And then they can listen to it again and see it in a new light. So it's stuff like that.
So something that you've got to listen to twice to fully appreciate. You'll appreciate it first time round, but absolutely nail it second time round. So this is we want a Facebook fan page for David Love, the B-side collection in some ways, isn't it? It's very much that's how it works.
Yeah, like or it's the album track, the long one on the album that everybody usually skips through, but it's for the real musos. A better word than muso, because I don't think many actual musos would listen to me. But it is quite fun doing these little clips. I've never done it. I've been a bit snobby about it, engaging with social media at all. But it's either this, or as I've said on one of the videos, it's either this now or paint the house.
And yeah, as you see, you just don't want to go there. I mean, last time we met up, you came down to the Lighthouse and did a couple of tunes for us, and then you were very dismissive of the pretty much the whole internet. It's almost like it wasn't your friend.
Well, it still isn't, and I sort of feel like I've sold out. I mean, by using it, it's like selling out to the man, because everybody wants to use it. It's the same thing as, I don't know, to me it comes with the drive to shut down your local bank. Mm-hmm. Because it saves it. They want you to do it online. They want me to do online banking. And I'm afraid I'm actually thinking about doing that now.
Oh dear, no, that's just not the David Love that we all know and love.
No, I will probably. I'll probably hold back for a while, but it is going to be difficult, I think, because it's. I think you get sucked into it. I'm frightened now. Once I've started putting these things online, there's no turning back.
You're out there.
Yeah, it was like when somebody gave me a wristwatch. This is going somewhere. I could tell the time of the day to within about 2 or 3 minutes. Just by looking out the window, or even if I wasn't outside, even if I was inside, I was never more than 2 or 3 minutes wrong. Up until the age of 14, when I had a watch for Christmas. Yeah. Within a month of having the watch, I lost that ability.
You had to put the sundial away and actually look at the hands.
And I have to do it every time now to tell the time. I've lost that ability. The same way as I'm sure if I had a sat-nav, I'd lose that ability to know roughly where I was in time and space.
Yeah, I think with sat-navs, you believe it, whatever it says, even if what it's saying is absolutely wrong, and you know better, but even so, you blindly follow. So yeah, let's not get you a sat-nav. A smartphone, I think, is borderline. Definitely no tablet computer, and we'll just stick with you and emails and the occasional bit of social media. Is that okay?
Well, that's okay. That's okay, but if you send... I even look at Facebook messages now, but what the other thing that this gets me so cross. I shouldn't. I know it's bad, but smiley faces,
emoticons, yeah.
See, I like to be given them now. That's the trouble. They smiley and they put a little smiley face. I've had a couple of hearts, obviously sarcastically, but all that sort of stuff. I'm finding I'm starting to like now, but. I actually write sometimes. If I like something, I'll actually write the word smiley face rather than put one in. The abbreviations that you see in texts are the worst things. Texts are even worse than Facebook messages. When people don't punctuate the text properly and they use abbreviations, no sense. Like what? I mean, lol. Took me ages to find out what that was. I thought it was somebody sending me lots of love. Seriously. I mean, who would think that meant laugh out loud? Who would think that?
It needs a dictionary, doesn't it? A whole dictionary, preferably on paper so you can look them up.
You do, yes, a little glossary somewhere. But no, that's why I will not send texts at all, because it stresses me so much, particularly on the phone that I've got, because it's still one of those where you've got to press it 4 times to get an S.
Yeah.
So that's the commonest letter, one of the commonest consonant, and you've got to press the button 4 times to get an S. So, and it stresses me so much, and then you've got to find out where the punctuation is. You've got to find out to put a full stop. I mean, heaven forbid you should want a semicolon, because you're completely stuffed there. So, no, I'm reluctant to being dragged into the 21st century, but it's not. There are some principles I'm compromising.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to music, what are we looking out for, and how do we find you? Do you know how we find you?
What do you think?
Okay, so if we search for David Love...
Well, Facebook, David Love on Facebook.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, if you do a search for David Love on Facebook, you end up with some pastor in the United States who murdered one of his congregation.
Okay.
So I think you have to be. I don't know what is it. Only you put David Love. There's just lots of us.
So what if we search for David Love Wolverhampton? Will that work?
Shouldn't mean there's too many. There's certainly not too many David Loves in Wolverhampton. There's quite a few Loves. Amazingly, we're not related. There's so many of us, but I've never met a relative accidentally, which you would have thought you would have done. David Love Wolverhampton, if you can search like that.
Okay.
Do they give you a special number? Like a reference number?
There must be somewhere. I tell you what, we'll try and find that out. Meanwhile, though, I'm going to have a little listen to one of the tracks that you've put online. Which one should I choose?
Which one do I think is quite good? Well, how about my latest hit, where I have to disclose the fact that I've sold out to the man by accepting the corporate shilling, as it were, and that one is it's about interspecies romance.
Okay.
It's a very healthy subject, I think, for your programme.
Sounds like incredible fun. David Love, always great to speak to you. Keep trying to do something sensible with the internet. Don't give up, and we look forward to meeting up in real life where you can get a guitar out and we can sing in a much more relaxed way when everything's back to something like normal. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Bye. Life ain't got many thrills when you've got fins and scales and gills, and a memory like an MP in the dock. Just dodge the fishing nets and hooks, don't give big fish funny looks, and your days will drag by in your stream or loch. In the rivers and the ocean ain't much muscular emotion, they reckon we're cold-blooded, which is true. Still I'm giving Neptune thanks, because I seen your silvery flanks. Now I'll be spawning and I'm moaning with you. Some species live in brine, which is absolutely fine, but me, I'm totally freshwater, true and true. So I ain't about inviting any haddock, cod or whiting when I'm spawning and I'm moaning with you. Ain't frolicking about with any daft old trout, can't imagine ever wanting to. Ain't getting on my freak with no stickleback or bleak. I'll be spawning in the morning with you. Ain't gonna boogie with no roach or no dirty sucking loach. I'd sooner wind up in a fishy stew. But baby, I'm so gonna fertilize your row. I'll be spawning in the morning with you. Let's hope love overcomes the reservations of our chums and our folks when they learn what we plan to do. Ain't gonna be plain sailing, 'cause I'm a perch and you're a grayling. Still I'll be spawning in the morning with you. Who knows what fate may hold, perhaps together we'll grow old, or just become exotic food like kangaroo. Ain't really gonna matter, long as I can share your batter and be spawning in the morning with you.
With theatres closed across the UK due to the COVID-19 crisis, our thoughts turn to making sure that once we are able to get out and about, the entertainment can continue. With Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre being part of a charity, it is vitally important that funds keep rolling in even though they don't have an income from their usual productions. Harry Gill works at the theatre and he's come together with a load of performers to put on a charity event to make sure there's at least some cash coming into the coffers. To tell us more, he's on the line. Hello, sir.
Hiya, you right?
I'm good. I trust we find you well.
Hey, I'm fine, thank you.
Good stuff. Now, you've been putting together a great list of performers who are going to be appearing as part of a video show which people can watch by making a donation.
Most of the performers that we have are mostly good friends of mine, and also people that have wanted to get involved by themselves. So I've got a lot of singers more than anything, I think. We've got some West End performers, we've got some people who have been on cruise ships, we've got graduates from drama schools and stuff like that. We've got dancers, we've got some fire breathers, and a comedic pianist as well, who are creating a song. I'm not sure what it's about yet, they haven't told me, but they're creating a little ditty about something, but it'll be like a funny type of comedic song, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so loads of different things. As you say, these people are people that you know, but they are equally people who are performing around the globe. They're all professionals, and they do a fantastic job of entertaining the masses when they can. One of those I know is on the list is Cecily Redmond. She is from our area, has recently been on tour across the UK with Avenue Q, and if you haven't checked out their Avenue Quarantine YouTube video, you absolutely must. But they are a fantastic group of performers. They know how to put on a show. So this is going to be an absolute treat for everybody who donates.
We've got a lad called Luke Redmore, who's currently on the West End in the Book of Mormon. He also recently finished his tour abroad of Chicago as well.
So, I mean, you've got... So great names doing fantastic stuff, and this is all about the theatre that you love. I mean, you're working there as part of the front of house team, and I know that everyone from the theatre's been getting together for regular chats, to make sure that you guys keep together, because the Grand is just an absolutely massive family, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. Like, everyone's together at the Grand. You don't have separate people. You might work in separate areas of the Grand, but everyone's together. Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's brought together by one thing, and our Zoom calls have been brilliant. We had a quiz last week, which is it's just a laugh to have. We're not taking the chat seriously. They're just there to keep us uplifted and keep us updated with stuff. But it's nice to go in there and see everybody still laughing, still smiling, even though we're in such a strange and weird time. But yeah, it's like one big massive family. And
as a charity, obviously the Grand can be supported in many ways. I know that in excess of £10,000 has been donated by patrons who've been receiving refunds for shows which, of course, aren't on during this crisis. And, with the theatre closed at least until the end of May, it is a difficult time for everybody. And it's a time when we need this sort of entertainment. So events like this, which can not only raise funds for the Grand's charity side of the organisation, but also put a smile on a few faces with phases which you have seen on stage at the theatre and at theatres across the UK. It is just a really good fun way of doing it. So congratulations for putting it together. And how do people actually get involved now and make a donation and get to see the show?
Right, so anybody can get involved at the moment. It's going to be a YouTube link, so there's not a limit of people who can get involved. At the moment, it's been live for 3 days, the donation link, and we've absolutely smashed over £300 already now, which is probably looking at 25 supporters so far, and that's 3 days in. So if we can keep pushing, if we can keep looking out to people, keep getting the word out there, those numbers will keep rising and rising. So I'm really pleased with what's happened so far.
And you'll be hosting on the night, will you?
Yes, I'm going to be hosting and recording my bits throughout the week, if weather permitting, hopefully. So yeah, I'll be hosting each section, and then we'll slide everybody in between.
Because you're not a stranger to appearing on stage and in film yourself, are you?
No, I'm not. I act professionally when I can as well. So yeah, I like to do my little bit.
Well, it promises to be an absolutely fantastic show. What are we looking out for on Facebook, and how do we make donations?
Obviously, at the moment, it's on my Facebook page, Harry Gill. If you just go to Harry Gill, that should come up. And lots of people who are involved. So if you know the people who are involved, actors, people who are already seeing it, they're all sharing my post. So get on it as soon as you can to get your link. But make sure if you are donating that I have some sort of clarification that you've donated. Otherwise, you won't be able to get the link in any other way. I need to be able to send you the link.
So when you make your donation, do a screen grab, send it on over, and you'll be able to get the private link that way to be able to see what promises to be a fantastic show. We're talking well over an hour's entertainment across the board, some great singers, and it's like comedy moments. And the bit that intrigues me most is going to be Josh's fire breathing and fire juggling. You're never safe with that man in the boxing matches, are you? Anything could happen.
Looking forward to that one.
That should be an absolute treat. Harry, keep up the good work. I know you're supporting the theatre that you love, as we all do across Wolverhampton. The Grand is such a special place in all our hearts, and as a charity, it needs as much support as it can get, especially at this time. And we look forward to the entertainment returning to the stage, but meanwhile, we'll be able to get it on a screen of any particular size we fancy in the comfort of our own homes.
Looking forward to it.
Harry, great catching up with you, and see you soon.
Thank you, mate. Bye.
Obviously, at the moment, theatres, cinemas and many of our public gathering spaces are closed. However, it doesn't mean we don't need entertainment more than ever. Somebody who is currently on a bit of an unexpected break is Kelly Jeff, CEO of The Lighthouse. Hello.
Hi Jason, great to see you.
Well, good to see you too. And I know that the Lighthouse is always under pressure, and you could do without having to take the hiatus at the moment from sharing films and brilliant exhibitions with the people of Wolverhampton. But obviously the work continues, and there's been quite a few little fundraising events taking place to help with the situation, hasn't there?
Yeah, there's been a couple of things going on in the background while we're sort of closed. Initially, we launched our virtual ticket scheme where people are regularly buying a ticket, sort of a non-existent ticket. They're not getting anything for it in terms of consuming a film, but they are knowing they're helping towards preserving the future, which at the moment is still very uncertain for everyone in the sector.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not an easy time at all. But one of your staff, Daryl, I'll try that again. It's not easy at all, but one of your staff, Daryl's been doing some good stuff as well. In fact, he combined one of his favourite hobbies with raising funds for Lighthouse as well.
Yeah, he did a few weeks ago. He did a Netflix marathon, and so he put out. Daryl's one of our front of house staff, and also supports with programming. He supports me for programming and helps with marketing, and he's just a fabulous member of staff that. also writes his own reviews for Jump online, and he decided to do a Netflix marathon where he, I think he watched 8 films over 24 hours. I can't remember now off the top of my head.
It was a lot though, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he raised over £1,200, but also it was the fact that the thing about him being in a conversation with our followers and his followers and the film, sort of supporters. So online, it was a really nice sort of thread of comments, and he raised over £1,200, which was amazing. That's really brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the lighthouse itself is just such a vitally important hub in the heart of Wolverhampton, and there are exhibitions which you should have been able to share but haven't been able to. But it's such a great event space as well, and even that, alongside the brilliant food that's available at Lockworks Cafe Bar as well, it is just such a special place in the city. And through supporting with what you've been able to do ongoing online, it does help towards those steps of making sure that it has got the future it deserves.
Yeah, me personally, I'm missing the team and the audiences and the customers and all the amount of people that we engage with every day. It's been a real shock to the system, from engaging with hundreds of people every week to just me and my son, and that's not the kind of life that I lead personally. So that took a while for me to get used to, like a lot of people who engage with lots of people every day.
Yeah.
But I think because, the whole thing about the conversations that are going on in the background within the sector itself, obviously I have to wear a couple of different hats, because I'm in conversations with the BFI to find out, what they're up to with funding. There's a bit of funding available to support independent cinemas. There's also a conversation going on with national programmers about the state of what the film sector is going to be like in the future. What products are going to be available, how a cinema is going to be treated. It could end up being an opportunity for independent cinemas, because there's lots of antagonism going on with chain cinemas and distributors because of the way that the way that things are, for example, the way that Odeon Cinema treated their staff. It's a really complex situation. So now Universal Pictures are saying, they've come head to head and said, well, we're not going to show any Universal films anymore. So there's all these kind of little opportunities that might end up being a benefit to independent cinemas. But the biggest worry for me, for our sector, is the length of time it's going to take to. I wouldn't say we'll ever revert back to what we were before. That it won't happen for a long time.
Not yet. No, there's going to be a vaccine before we can get back to normal life, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's obviously, I'm speaking on behalf of all venues, and the entertainment sector is such a vast sector, and everyone's careers, they've all had. No one has an easy career in this sector, and but it's a lot of it's through passion, through creativity, through supporting each other. So there's a time and a place for thinking out the box and doing things in a different way. But the core principles of a cinema is a collective experience, and that collective experience and being within the essence of an auditorium and to see a film together, and that experience that won't die, but it'll take a while for it to pick up. So in the meantime, we as a sector have to think about other models, and it's not going to be there's not going to be a like for like, we'll do everything online now and digitally and that will generate an income. That is just not going to happen. So we have to just see.
And I think cinema's continued in the way it has because it is a shared experience. You want to go and see the latest James Bond film with your friends so you can glance across at each other and get the reaction when something massive happens on screen. And you want to hear people laughing along and all at the same point in a comedy. And I know that you've been sharing a few film recommendations, as has The Lighthouse, during this time. And there's a lot of stuff that has gone straight to video on demand, which maybe hadn't been anticipated until all this. But there is some great stuff to watch out there and to continue to support that industry. So it has got funding to be able to create new stuff as soon as we can get back out of the sort of social distancing measures we're in now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of product, but I'm just slightly concerned that the quality, you know, there's the choices and quality. I mean, there are loads of things, films, slates of films that haven't been released yet. So, and again, back to the point that I constantly make as a person that runs a cinema, is that most directors of feature films want their film to be seen on the big screen. That is the key idea of it all.
Yeah.
And films it is fantastic that you can access things online, and we know we're all moving towards a different way of consuming. That's been a debate. Video on demand's been a debate for many years now, but it hadn't affected us as a cinema. You know, our audiences grew year on year on year by a good percentage since 2012.
Yeah.
Every year our audiences have grown by 3,000-4,000 people, or ticket sales. So there's no denying that there was a want, a demand, but we just have to move along slowly, see it in the steps, sort of be methodical, see it as stepping stones, and hopefully have the opportunity to test things. But we need revenue to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, I say you can support the Lighthouse, whether it's by buying a virtual ticket, making a donation in some other way, buying a gift voucher for when things do return to normal. So how do people get online and do this sort of stuff to support?
Well, you can go onto the website, light-house.co.uk, and there is a donation section on there. And also you can log on to localgiving.org, which Lighthouse has a dedicated page on there where people can set up a monthly direct debit, or obviously through the website you can do a one-off donation. But also just keep up to date with our social media. And obviously if there's anything significant any information that's coming through of any sign of re-entry, then obviously social media will help with that. But it's not going to be for a while yet, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, and we're back, and hopefully then see an influx of people to enjoy cinema the way it should be seen, in a community environment, in what is an absolutely beautiful space in the heart of Wolverhampton.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing is obviously because people don't just come to us for the cinema, as you said before, we have all the other things that are going on. There are a lot of health and wellbeing groups that use our space. And the irony of it now is that some of those groups came to us to avoid isolation and to help with the loneliness agenda. I hate using that term, but you know, these are people on their own. They may be from the older generation, and it's almost like, you know, that's kind of what we were about. But hopefully we'll get back to that again, and they, you know, come back with confidence and enjoy spending time with us again.
Well, if there's any team that can do it, it is the one down at the Lighthouse, light-house.co.uk. Get online, make a donation, and follow all the other links for socials and stuff on there. But for now, CEO of the Lighthouse, Kelly Jeffs, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jason. Take care.
You will no doubt know the name Paycare and the great work they do, not only in the community, but also helping people with their healthcare needs. Kevin Rogers looks after the company and joins me now for a bit of a chat. Hello, sir.
Hello there, how you doing?
I'm good. I trust we find you well?
Yeah, not quite climbing any walls just yet.
That's the way we want to keep it, but I know you're continuing to work from home to make sure that people's healthcare needs are met from the work that you do at Paycare. For those who don't know the background, tell us a bit about the company.
Paycare is probably one of Wolverhampton's oldest companies. We were formed in 1874 out of the Royal Hospital. And the kind of romantic story goes that a group of foremen got together and worked. I mean, obviously we're talking way before the NHS was formed, and people really couldn't afford healthcare. So a group of foremen got together in all the major industries, companies in Wolverhampton, and formed a scheme. And they used to call it the penny in the pound scheme. So people would have a penny in the pound deducted, and then on the Saturday, and because we were also called Saturday funds, they would draw down the money and then get healthcare. And obviously, as the NHS was formed in 1947, as an organisation, we've moved with the times. So we are an insurance scheme, but we like to consider ourselves as the good guys of the insurance industry. So our philosophy is how can we pay claims and how not to pay claims. And so we cover like normal everyday healthcare. So if you go to the opticians, you can make a claim for your eye test or glasses or contact lenses. If you go to the dentist, you can make a claim. Because unfortunately, still a lot of people can't afford everyday healthcare, and it's so important that they continue to be proactive about their healthcare.
Yeah, and it's in the same way as, I mean, you're saying there, it was originally it was a penny in the pound. That was a pound with 240 pence in it back in the day. So things have moved on a little bit from there, and the cost of things though has probably in many ways come down compared to what people are earning. Obviously, you've got the help of the NHS in there as well. But as you mentioned, there are things that go over and above. It's about glasses, it's about being able to see, and to the whole thing that with using dentists, and dentistry can be expensive even when it is NHS care that you're receiving.
It's still really expensive, and people put off going to the dentist because of the costs involved. So it's important that when we get a claim for a dental treatment, we get it back in people's bank accounts as quick as possible. So our turnaround time is around 3 days from when you submit the claim to when it's back in your bank account. And the only reason I'm in a job is because of our policyholders. That's the only reason. The people at Paycare are employed for our 40,000 policyholders that we have. Big chunk of them still in the Black Country, but we are a nationwide business. And as I said, we like to consider ourselves the good guys of the insurance industry. We're a not-for-profit organisation, so we don't have shareholders. So every penny that we get back either goes back to our policyholders or we give to charitable causes.
Yeah, I know you do a massive amount of work in the community. In fact, recently you've made a donation to the work that Paul Hayes Community School are doing. Well, it's Paul Hayes Academy now, Paul Hayes Community School when I was there, and it turns out Paul Hayes Comprehensive when you were involved.
I started at Paul Hayes Comprehensive in 1972. And I loved every minute there. It was a great school. We were never the most academic of schools, but we were just a great community. Fantastic football teams we had. I was fortunate enough to be in the same year as Wayne Clark.
I was about to say, because there are some big names that moved on from our school into the world of football.
Yeah, well, I went to school with Wayne at Beacon, Beacon Junior School, in New Invention, and we followed each other to Pool Hayes, and it was literally a simple. Our coach didn't have to come up with great tactics. It was basically give the ball to Wayne and he will score.
I mean, that your love of football continues. I know I've sat next to you at Wolves end of season dinner, and we had a lovely natter that night. But with all the other community activities you get involved in, and you like to spend your time actually with the charities and the community groups that you support as well. And I know you do that with the Grand as well, and everything that goes on there. So I mean, you must absolutely thrive on what you get to do because of how you can help the community.
I consider myself really fortunate in that we can make a real difference in our community, and being a bit creative about how we do that. So as you mentioned, we support a lot of organisations from football clubs. So Bilston Town we sponsor, Darliston Town we sponsor, but we sponsor netball clubs, Libra Lee, sponsor a volleyball club in Techno. I never knew volleyball was big, but Techno Tigers volleyball. But we always support clubs that really are inclusive in the community. So supporting Bilston because they're a real community club, supporting Darliston because they're a community organisation. And it's really, really important that they include the community in what they're doing for their health and well-being. It all fits together for us. Again, we're always looking at different ways. So one of the new initiatives we did, and it's new 18 months ago now, whoever built Paycare House had got delusions of grandeur because it's 4 stories high, and maybe we would have ever been big enough to occupy 4 stories. I'm not sure, but we've only ever occupied 2 stories. So one of our tenants left, and we thought, what do we do with this space? We got 3,500 square feet of offices. And what did the charities do with it? They either pay for people, or generally it goes to paying rent to landlords. So we thought, let's think a bit differently. Let's put the landlord out. So now we've got 6 organisations in this office space that don't pay a penny rent. So what that means is that they can put all the money they would normally pay in rent to the front line, where it makes a real difference. So it's just thinking different ways how we can give back to the community. So I go and talk to businesses in the city. Have you got a spare office, or have you got an office that's full of boxes? Clear it out, give it to organisations that can really use that space, save money.
Yeah, actually make a difference. And obviously that's the ethos that Paycare's had since its inception, looking after people, looking after the community, and making available what that community needs, and whether it goes from over 100 years ago, a Saturday get-together to sort out health issues, through to the refunds that you make to people on what they spend today. A small outlay allows them to be able to not only make a difference to their own lives, but also to the community too. And what you're doing is on behalf of those people who are your members.
We are really, really proud to be at the heart of Wolverhampton. We're a nationwide business now, but we're really, really proud of our Wolverhampton roots. I talk to, we've got customers, businesses down in London, and I put a smile on my face when they say, we love calling into Paycare because this strange accent answers. It's lovely. They always feel like they're talking to Noddy Holder, but we're authentic. We're really proud of our Black Country roots, and so we're always looking to promote Wolverhampton and the city, but we look to help our community, our people in Wolverhampton. We look to help in small ways, but one of the driving forces for me personally is that it's not fair, and I'll never accept the fact that if you live in the east of the city, you're generally going to live 9 years less than if you're in the west of the city. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to me. So what can we do in our own small way to help that situation?
There's a lot that you've done already, much more that I'm sure you will do. All of that through the help of your members, not only getting the benefits that they do, but also benefiting people across the region as well. Where do we go to find out more about Paycare and all the work that you do?
Just gone on the website, paycare.org. Again, this little company, Wolverhampton, in our industry, is seen as market leaders in terms of how we communicate with our policyholders and our members. So our website is not like any kind of insurance website you look at. It talks directly to people and in language people can understand. So just have a look at paycare.org, message us on inquiries at Paycare. Love to chat to everybody.
I know that's true because we've had some fantastic conversations over the years. Kevin, great to speak to you now. Thank you for all that you do. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to hearing more from you soon.
No problem. Everyone stay safe.
Sam Rabone is darling of the Lichfield Gaelic when it comes to their pantos. Absolutely fantastic actor, all-round nice guy, and strangely bearded at the moment. But there we go. Hello, sir.
Good morning or afternoon or good evening. I don't know what time this is going out. It's not live, is it?
No, we're not live. You're okay. It's a pre-record.
That's all right. Because, I've got my walking clothes on. I didn't realise I was actually being filmed. I thought it was just a podcast this. But anyway, I've semi-done my hair. It's got some sea salt in because we live so close to the sea. I thought I'd go for the rugged surfer look and failed miserably. Yes, bearded at the moment because I don't have to shave. So why bother?
Well, this is it. Yeah.
I do shape it a little bit, but it keeps my chin warm. form, and also hides the second one, which I've got growing at the moment.
Well, it's always nice to have extra friends around the face, isn't it? I think that helps. But there we go. So, I mean, what is going on for you at the moment? Because like most actors, your work is on hiatus. You're normally jetting off around the world and doing all sorts of fantastic stuff, entertaining people.
I am. So, yeah, everything's stopped, which is unusual. I mean, there's a lot of actors pulling their hair out literally at the moment, but I'm actually not been, I've sort of never been busier. I've taken to doing lots of things online, which I think a lot of people have. And I saw a lot of people doing things that they were sort of semi-good at. And like people were singing, people were doing yoga lessons, people doing exercise classes. So I can't sing. I'm not very flexible. And I'm not into my exercise classes. So I thought, what can I do? And many, many years ago, before I became an actor, I was a nightclub DJ.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I could do an online disco and just see what happens. So in the end, it turned into a little bit of a project for me and my friend, who still is a nightclub DJ, but he's now having to be a full-time Tesco delivery driver, Fourth Emergency Service. Shout out to them. Although he was very confused the other week. The first time the NHS clap for carer things happened, he hadn't been, because he'd been working constantly. He was doing like 12-hour shifts all the time, delivering our goodies. He wasn't aware of the clap, so he was driving down the road, and everybody would come out the house as he turned onto this road in Solihull. And honestly, he thought they were all clapping for him, but it turns out they weren't. But he acknowledged it anyway.
Well, it's nice to just take any applause you can get.
Well, he takes after me. Because we all, I just love it. But so we set up this online sort of stay in nightclub disco. We'll bring the nightclub to you, and we've been raising money for charity. So we started off with Great Ormond Street, raised a few £100 for them. We've done a mental health charity. We've done St Giles Hospice, Marie Curie this week we did, and so it's a little bit of a fundraiser. I try and tell people that you pay £5 to get into a nightclub. Let's pay £5 to charity instead and have a bit of fun.
Because overall, I mean, people are saving a fortune on what they'd normally spend when going out. Now, I know.
No, Amazon have ruined us.
Okay, other than that. so
online shopping.
What's been the most unexpected thing that you've bought whilst you have been off then?
You're probably looking at it
okay.
now. I bought this USB desk mic. Me and my friend George, who you might remember was one of the Ugly Sisters from
George
Cinderella
Aiken,
this year. George Aiken. Yeah, we've set up a podcast called Cobs and Tea Cake, which we do twice a week. And we talk about nonsense, really. It's we try to keep it to a 20-minute nonsense chat. So, yeah, we talk about all things, mainly food-related, which is why we called Cobs and Tea Cake. Because what do you call it? That round piece of crusty bread with just some ham in. It is a cob. You're happy on the cob.
It's absolutely a cob.
See, well, let's get rid of Cobs and Tea Cake. No, don't. It's keeping me sane. So I've started a podcast, and on Monday, which is tomorrow, or in the past, if you're listening behind us, which I don't know anymore, because this could be the future or the past, who knows? I'm starting an online community radio station.
Right.
So we're launching Monday, the 4th of May. 7:30 in the morning it goes live, and then I'm going to start doing a late breakfast show Monday to Friday, 8 till 11. So it's all for the community. It's based around Sutton Park, really, because we thought Sutton Park was the heart of our little community. So Streetley to the Royal Town of Sutton Coldfield, Bolmy and New Oscott, everything around Sutton Coldfield is all based on the heart of Sutton Park. So we thought it's a nice way to focus everything. I mean, you can listen anywhere in the world. We're not going to stop you. In fact, we'd like it. We'd like as many listeners as possible.
You like attention, yeah.
I do. So we thought we'd do that, and it'll be able to, because communities are being brought closer and closer together with this COVID-19. The butchers up our road has probably never been busier. I mean, they are working so hard. And so, I mean, people like the NHS are getting all these thanks, but also these local shops who have probably never had so many customers in their life are working really, really hard to keep us all fed as well. I mean, I still can't get flour. Why is everybody baking? I've been baking since I first met you. In fact, longer than that. I think we've had chats about this before.
We have.
Because I got into role as Sarah the cook by definitely baking. Now everybody's doing it. I can't get flour for love nor money. I bought some coconut flour. I've gone all like artisan. I have no idea what I'm going to do with coconut flour.
Maybe you can turn it into coconuts. Is that reconstitute
I could try and plant it, I guess. But I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I bought it anyway, and I thought I'd have a go and see if I can make some. I don't know whether it tastes like coconut or whether it's just a substitute for flour, because I guess it's done for the sort of the gluten intolerance and things.
Yeah. It's a strange world, so we will look forward to maybe seeing online some of your bakes there. But I mean,
With the coconut flour.
With the coconut flour.
You'll only see it if it works. I'm one of these people that'll only share it if it works. So if you don't see anything coconut-based for the future, you know that it was not very good.
A complete failure. So, but I mean, looking back, I mean, Panto over the last few years, they're going absolutely riotous fun, and you've got all this to come again. Fingers crossed this Christmas.
Fingers crossed, as long as everything happens. I mean, nobody knows. This is the problem. Things are being cancelled up until sort of August at the moment. So hopefully we'll know more in the next coming months. But at the moment, everything is ploughing ahead. Casting is all on hold because we can't see people. And to get... unless you know somebody, like we've met before, so doing a Zoom with somebody like you is fine because we've met. But if you're auditioning somebody, it's a bit harder to do it via Zoom because you don't get the feel for them quite as much as you would in the room. I mean, if we have to do it like this, we're going to have to. But we'd rather meet people in the room because it's a much nicer experience. And they get to know us, we get to know them. But yeah, at the moment, Panto is still happening. This year we're doing Peter Pan. I couldn't figure out what we're doing there. And no, because I made the joke last year that I was either going to, I think in several shows I said I was Tinkerbell, some shows I said I was going to be Wendy. I'm neither of those. I would be the worst Tinkerbell, more like Tinkerbelly, I guess. And I think I'm slightly too old for Wendy. So I'll be playing Mrs. Smee. So I'll be like Captain Hooks. Which hand does he have a hook on, right or left?
I'm not sure. I think it's right, isn't it?
Well, I'll be the hand that is the hook, I guess. So I'll be his right or left hand. But as long as he doesn't start scratching me with his hook, I'll be okay.
That's fine. So that's something to look forward to. We're keeping positive about, fingers crossed, everything coming back to a semblance of normal, even though I'm sure there'll be some sort of ways we have to work around the ongoing coronavirus situation.
More than likely.
Yeah. But I mean, what else, floats your boat when it comes to the stuff you normally do? Because... as I said, you're often travelling around the world entertaining. What do you do when you're actually doing that?
Well, at the moment, so yeah, I've spent the past few years, I've done sort of winter in Dubai. However, their season shut early as well. So a lot of my friends, I didn't go out there this year for that. But a lot of my friends had to come back early. Everything globally is shut down entertainment-wise at the moment. The only sort of entertainers that are working, I mean, the more like the newsreaders or the journalists or the sort of the ITV presenters, there's very, very few of us who have actually got any actual work. I think the only thing I know that's gone back recently is Neighbours and in Australia, but they're operating a very weird policy where there won't be any more than 3 actors in one area. So it will be a very weird...
Well, Neighbours, when I used to watch it last, most of the acting was that wooden anyway. They could be replaced by a dummy and no one would have noticed. Is it better than that now?
Well, I've never watched it. I just heard they were going back, but I don't think anything else. At least EastEnders is still on hold. So acting-wise, there isn't very much. There's talk about... I normally would go to Sweden in the summer as well. I was meant to be going again this year to work on a boat. All cruises have stopped. I mean, the boat I work on is it's like a party cruise that goes from Stockholm out through the archipelago. It's beautiful. And then we sort of float to the Baltic Sea overnight. We dock at an island called Mariehamn first thing in the morning. Basically, Mariehamn used to belong to Sweden. Then the Finns took it. Then after World War II, I think the Finns said, "Oh, Sweden, you can have it back." Mariehamn, Mariehamn's the town. The island is called Åland. And Åland basically went, "Well, we don't want to go back." So they became sort of an independent island all on their own, which means that they can sell alcohol and cigarettes duty-free. So we dock there. So it's a duty-free boat in effect, but it's a 24-hour party boat. So people get on, because the alcohol in Sweden's so expensive. They get on and have a party with us. We do the entertainment for the kids. We do a magic show and a puppet show to them. And then they sail back to Stockholm and get off the next day. But I can't imagine that's happening at the moment. We've been told they're pushing it back till July, but at the moment you can't even fly to Sweden. But people, I think the press in England have been giving Sweden quite a bad rep for saying how relaxed it is. It's not as relaxed as we're being told, because I've been talking to quite a few of my Swedish friends. The Swedes are a lot more compliant than us as British people. The government has said to the Swedish people, if you're over 70, if you're at health, if you're risky, like you've got the health risks, stay at home. We'll keep everything open, but go in and keep yourself socially distanced. They've stopped all entertainment in pubs and restaurants and things like that. So people are going in and having a couple with their friends. The pictures I think we're seeing are angled very, very badly, so it looks a lot busier than it is. But actually, they're very, very good, and their infection rates quite low, and their death rate's a lot lower than ours. So they're doing something all right. But there's the scare. I mean, nobody knows. This is the problem: the scare of the second peak and things happening. But we actually don't know whether they've done it right. We've done it right. Who has?
I don't think anyone can actually do this right. I know that's the problem. There is no perfect solution to any of it, and all we know is those who are susceptible are going to be susceptible whenever they get it, which is the really sad part.
So let's move on and talk about something nice.
Okay, right. When you are doing your podcast, you and George, I mean, do you dress up a bit as well? Because you're both known for being on stage, often in drag, or as part of your Dame roles on stage. So has it been tempting to go the full hog and put makeup on and stuff?
No, for the podcast, if it was a vlog, I think we might be thinking about something different. But our whole podcast it's just an audio one, so no. And I mean, no, it's for me dressing up and doing this all online would be. I'd find it ever so strange. I find it strange enough talking to a computer and hoping there's people listening. So to dress up and do it as well, I mean, I could just put a photo of me here and sort of go, yeah, I am dressed up, and people go for it, I guess. But no dressing up for our podcast as of yet. I mean, who knows? We might get bored in the summer when nothing else is happening and go, oh, let's put the tits on.
So, I mean, you've got loads of stuff happening, and that's the way we like to keep it. You've got to keep busy, and I say you are known for the fun that you have when you are on stage in Panto at the Garrick. We're looking forward to this year, and basically stay safe, and we look forward to so much more from you as we head through, the latter part of this year. But I mean, it's basically keeping an eye on you online and seeing what goes on. So where do we find you?
You can find me all over the place, really. I'm probably one of the easiest people to find. So it's Sam Rabone. Rabone doesn't have a Y in, though. That's what confuses people. Everybody thinks he's going to be Rabone. It's not. So it's Rabone. That's on Twitter, Instagram. And if you want to find me on Facebook, don't take offense. I won't add you as a friend if on my own one, but you can find me on Sam Rabone _Pantomime Dame. And most of my stuff goes up on there as well. Also, if you're interested in finding the radio station, which is launching, because we don't, as I say, if you listen anywhere in the world, you can. It's just going to be Sutton Park Radio. And hopefully once next week happens, once we've launched, you'll be able to ask your smart speaker to do it. You'll be able to get us an app on Android and Apple. We're sort of launching, and we're going to be gradually adding the elements that you can find us over the next coming weeks. Can you tell me, Jason? I didn't imagine you to be such a big fan of rabbits as you are.
Well, this is one rabbit just there. Admittedly, there's some little matching coasters, but I've got seagulls and I've got a dragon as well. I've got it all here.
Oh, have you? Oh, I couldn't. I didn't know whether that was just a very lazy cat, just forlorn and over this whole thing. Have you got any pets?
None whatsoever, apart from the dragon, and he's quite inanimate. They're
safe. Over it now. The pets are over it more than us. I've got a dog who he normally, whenever we've come home, he wants to be in the same room as us. No matter what, he's always come and been with us.
Yeah.
And since this has happened, he started just taking himself off for like an hour quiet time. I've never known anything like it. Like the dog is over the fact that people are in the house now as well. So the pets are over this. The people are walking their dogs to death. I've known a few people say their dogs have developed like a limp randomly one day. We started to take them for a walk and they've started limping. So they've taken them back in and they've limped around the house. Then the next day they're bolting around. They've just wanted a day off from walking. Give your dogs a day off. Don't walk them every day. They're over it. They're more over it than me.
Yeah, they're doing the bit. They're trying to work out what on earth's going on. It was confusing for the poor little things.
How are you coping with the lockdown haircuts?
Well, see, not having much hair, it's fine. On the day before lockdown started, I invested in a pair of trimmers, which I've been meaning to for ages, and I've saved an absolute fortune on what I'd normally do, keeping what little bits of fluff there is on my head in shave.
Oh, so you'd normally go to the hairdressers for that, do?
Well, because there's a strange dent in the back of my head, you see, and so I normally have them work around it. But turns out it didn't bother me. So
no.
It's
So
easy
you just needed a mirror and a pair of clippers and a bit of time on your hands, and you've figured it out yourself.
And away I go. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Have you taken up any hobbies during this crisis?
Well, see, no, I'm still working my usual 37-hour week, doing my radio program and a podcast. So I have no time to do anything extra. I'm working as normal, which is the really peculiar part.
So no hobbies at all. I mean, have you not even started baking? Are you stealing the flour?
Well, see, now I'd already bought some flour on a multi-buy pre all of this. I made sausage rolls yesterday, but that is standard. I mean, it's not like you. I mean, I enjoy a bit of baking periodically. So yeah. So
what's your secret to a good sausage roll?
Assembly more than anything else. Buy some decent sausage. Buy some pre-packed pastry. Stick it together. Bake it for about half an hour, and before you know it, you've got a sausage roll. Greg's, eat your heart out.
I mean, where do you get your decent sausage meat? Is it sausage meat or sausage you buy? Do you buy like the pre-pack?
I will find a sausage that I like. There's quite a nice one the Co-op do. Tesco's Finest Traditional is very good as well.
So you buy an actual sausage and
de-skin it and it's already the right shape. No rolling.
Yeah, I mean, these are life hacks that I never thought I would need. Because I'd have automatically bought sausage meat and spend like 5 minutes getting it covered on my hands, going, it's sticking everywhere, this sausage meat.
Yeah.
Do you egg base it as well?
I don't normally go that far. I like it without it. You still get a nice rise, crispy puff, and you don't necessarily need to egg base.
I'm going to have to try this. So sausage rolls you bake. Do you bake anything else on a regular basis?
Yeah, just cakes. I tell you what I've been doing. I've been cooking more. I've had so many Sunday roasts. Not that I know what day it is, but more Sunday roasts than ever before.
Is it because you're working though? Because I mean, I forget what day of the week it is. So I mean, we had fish and chips the other day on a Wednesday, and we were so confused because we only ever normally have them on a Friday. And I spent the rest of the day thinking it was a Friday and getting really annoyed at the television choices. Going, this isn't a Friday night. What's going on?
So until you started with the coconut flour, what was the one thing that you are known for when it comes to your baking?
Oh, I try not to. I do a lot of crumbles. We've got a big rhubarb plant in the garden, so I do a lot of crumbles. I try and make a pineapple crumble now and again because I like pineapple a lot, and I've done the trick, and it's starting to work, and I can't wait. Everybody's going, "Oh, you're so sad for doing this." If you cut the top of the pineapple off and remove the bottom bits of leaves, if you then put that into water and leave it, you just got to leave it for about 2 weeks. It'll start to show some roots.
Yeah, you
can then plant that into some soil, and you'll grow a new pineapple.
Well, there we go.
But I'm just at the rooting stage at the moment, so I've got to leave that for a while. Incidentally, never refer to rooting like that in Australia. I did it once. Because what would you if you said go for a root in your handbag? What would you take that to mean?
Well, number one, you're the only one of the two of us that has a handbag, and normally I knew it on stage. But it would be to have a look around, wouldn't it? To
look
see what
around,
you find. Yes.
So when I was in Australia, I was working as a waiter. So I did a year out and did like a holiday visa. So if you're under 30, I think it's like into your 30th year, you can do this working holiday visa where you can work in Australia for up to a year. You've just got to travel around. So you can't work in any place for more than 6 months. And I was working in this rather glamorous place called Hog's Breath, which is an American. It's a very, I loved it. It was an American style steakhouse. It meant I could just be a bit dopey and wacky, TGI Friday style. Just put that sponsorship down there for me. And I can't wait for them to open again. I'm having a rack of ribs. And anyway, I said to this couple, because they said, "Oh God, we're $5 short." I said, "Oh, you must have something. Have a root in your handbag." And they both looked at me as if I said, "What have I said?" Apparently, rooting in Australia is a bit of, how's your father?
Ah, okay. Well, there we go.
So I basically told them to go and do a bit of how's your father with your handbag.
Everybody has those special moments that they probably shouldn't share in real life. So yeah, let's not even go there. Sam, always good to catch up with you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll let you carry on with doing lockdown and growing the beard to a full-on Grizzly Adams style thing before you get out.
You're very kind. Well, actually, this is trimmed. I'd actually got it quite a bit longer in the past few days, but I thought I need to scale this back. I don't know what's in there anymore. Anyway, it's nice to talk to you because it's nice to talk to somebody that's not my dog. So it's been nice. And where can we? I'm asking you where we can listen to this. People will be listening to this already know where they can listen to it. So it doesn't help. It'll help me know where I can listen to it. But your friends are already listening to it. So basically, we don't need to say, do we?
Well, I'll send you. I'll tag you. Okay, that's the way it works.
You tag me and I'll tag you, and we'll have a lovely chat. And enjoy working, more to the point, and
Yes.
stay safe and wash your hands.
We'll do it constantly. And by the way, we do want an Instagram feed of the pineapple as it grows. So can we see that as well, please?
Yeah, I'll whack one on in a minute.
Sam, great catch up. See you soon. Try for now.
Talk to you soon.
That's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining us back with episode 568 next week. I'll see you then. So for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.